What's up, guys? How's it going? I hope you're having a good one today. Hope it's all going good for you in your neck of the woods and all that stuff. Welcome to my rambling series on YouTube where I take a little bit of time-lapse footage from my weekly streams and I just talk over them. and it's a way for me to get my thoughts out to the world, and it's a bit of a therapeutic thing, I guess. It could be seen that way. But yeah, really, like, no editing done to this. It's just a fun time for us to sit back and relax and just have a chat, you know? So today I kind of had a specific topic that I wanted to talk about, and the topic that it has to do with getting feedback from everybody. And when I say getting feedback from everybody, first off, I guess I should elaborate more on what feedback is. For many artists, you already know what feedback is. You know, it's when you are working on a piece or you complete a piece and you want somebody to give their opinion on it and possibly some sort of direction on where to go if they don't think that it's perfect, or if they don't think that it's up to a certain standard, you know. Often you prefer to have that be constructive criticism. It isn't always the case, and it can make some people jaded to the system or whatever you want to call it. But you know, there could be something taken away from every bit of critique, even if it does sound negative. But the type of feedback that I wanted to bring up today is the acceptance of feedback. So what I mean by this is there is a certain group of people who they believe that feedback should only be given from other people who are of equal skill or a similar viewpoint. And I feel like that is completely wrong, and that shouldn't be the case. So if you're somebody who thinks that, oh, I'm an artist at this particular level, I'm an artist at a particular level, and I will only accept critiques from an artist who is of a similar level to me and nobody else. Similar or better, similar level to me or better. And, you know, I won't accept a critique from anybody else. Everything else they say is stupid and invalid. And that's just not the case. That's just not the case. The main reason why I even say this is because after yourself, who are you making art for? Like after your own personal interests, who are you making art for? You're making them for an audience, right? You want other people to see it and give their opinion on it, so that you're kind of defeating yourself from the start. And this kind of goes into why I believe that you should take feedback from not just a certain group of people, but pretty much everyone, as long as they're not being a jerk, obviously. Like I said earlier, you could get something positive out of that if you spin it positively, but you know, that's where I could potentially draw the line. It's just like, yeah, if they're being a jerk, like, you don't need to take their feedback. You don't need to hear that from a jerk, right? But there are some people that think just an average person viewing your art can't give meaningful feedback, and that I completely disagree with. If you get feedback from anybody and they mean well when they tell you what they think, like, I would take that to heart in almost any situation. So recently I was working on a piece. I'll show you. This is the before and this is the after. So I was working on this piece recently, and as you can see with the before and the after combined or compared to one another, my new version looks a lot better than the previous version did. Like, at least I think so. The face looks a lot less weird, right? I was going for like an anime thing, and I was trying to rush it, and it just looking back, it just didn't look good at all. I thought it looked good at the time, but not so much. And my girlfriend, she told me when she looked at my piece that I originally had thought, I was like, yeah, this looks okay. She looked at the piece and said, you know, I really like it when you do the faces in a different style. I don't really like that face too much. And she's not an artist. She doesn't draw. She doesn't do she doesn't do any visual art of any kind. That's just not her area of interest, right? But I took her critique, her opinion. It may not be as it may not be a critique along the lines of like, oh, the composition doesn't fit within the rule of thirds, and a very technical critique like that. But that doesn't matter. What matters is at the end of the day, when you're showing somebody something, you're showing your art for a general audience, right? And you want it to be seen, and you want to hear what their opinion is. And I think that's perfect. I think following the feedback of a general audience, viewer, person thing is probably going to give you great feedback most of the time. And when you want feedback like this, it's really easy to get it from a general audience member, because they're going to tell you basically how the piece makes you feel, or how the piece makes them feel, or like an area of the piece that makes them feel strange or good, or any area of emotion. So like, to condense it down, Grace told me, yeah, the face is kind of funny. She didn't tell me why it was funny, but like, that at least sets off a spark of like, oh, something's funny about the face. I should probably change it. And then I changed it, and now it's way better. I'm comfortable to call it done, So really, I guess the point of this talk was, if you are afraid or shy, or you think that feedback is not worth getting it from somebody else who may not be in the same area of interest or the same skill level that you are, I would argue that is a backwards way of thinking. That's kind of you're playing yourself a little bit. If you need feedback, honestly, just ask anybody. You may not get a very technical bit of feedback, like where it has to do with the specifics of like art technique or something like that. But if you just want to straight up go to somebody and say, hey, I'm working on this piece, and I just want to know what your general thoughts are. How does it make you feel? Like, is there anything that seems off about it to you? Most people will be able to answer those questions. Like, it looks really cool, but that arm looks pretty off. Like, I just don't know what it is, but like, yeah, the arm just makes me feel funny, or like, I don't know, the way that they're standing looks kind of like strange to me. You're going to get a lot of feedback like that. So it's almost your job to translate it to the artistic technical terms, but the knowledge is still the same. The lesson is still the same. You could have, you could have a very seasoned art teacher go, up to you and go, you drew the deltoid of this figure completely wrong. You need to restudy your anatomy. The deltoid is just completely off, and it's out of perspective, and the posing is all weird. You could have like an art teacher or somebody tell you that, or for the flip side, you could have somebody off the street that you're just showing, hey, look at my piece. They could go, yeah, that shoulder looks kind of funny. I don't know what it is, but it just looks kind of funny. I don't know. Both of those pieces of information lead to the same conclusion, but they're just from different sources. So don't make assumptions about what people know, or what their area of expertise is. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It really doesn't matter at all. Feedback is feedback is feedback. So get it from everywhere you can. And the feedback that sticks with you and makes your art, makes whatever, makes it the overall piece that you're working on, or just the artistic journey that you're on better, that's worth it, no matter where it comes from. So don't make assumptions about the people in your life. Feel free to ask them for feedback anyway. Obviously, don't let them be a jerk about it, but asking for feedback from anybody, even if they're not an artist, is not a big deal, and it could be just as useful as asking somebody who's been doing art for 50 years. The feedback could still wind up being the same. So, yeah, this was just like a little ramble. I don't know. I like talking about this topic. This is like, honestly though, like if you need feedback, get it from wherever you can. Like 100%. Please, 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 please. The only thing worse than getting feedback from somebody you may not have wanted to get feedback from is not getting any feedback at all. I would rather hear something than nothing. So, guys, I hope this talk was, maybe helpful in some way, or or something like that. This is just my rambling series that I do midweek, just in between my Twitch streams and various videos I may be uploading at the time. But yeah, this is just a fun little series, and I hope you enjoyed the art that was time-lapsed through this from my Twitch stream. And yeah, fun little talks. And if you want to hear me talk more about these topics and many, many others, you can join me weekly on Twitch, Monday through Friday. I start at 11 a.m. Pacific time. The link will be in the description below. And if you want to support me to make these videos and the streams and everything that I do more possible, you can join our Patreon, where you can get things such as stickers sent out to you quarterly, and just various other exclusive things. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Later, guys.